Hey y'all,
Hey.
it's another Wednesday. Girl Chat Sports
Crazy
with
Wednesday.
Mama.
Crazy Wednesday. A lot of
Yeah, it's a wild
action.
Wednesday. Wet and
Hey,
wild
tune
Wednesday.
in. Go ahead and start sharing. Start a watch party. Let us know what you
Please
think.
do, because it is a party for sure.
It's definitely a party. Get your cups. Have a sip with the Mo and I. You know how that
Get
goes.
your cup, get your get your cup popping. Get it ready. You guys are in for a treat this episode because we've never done this before, of having a show where we've actually had a fighter on our show. And this is the ultimate girl power episode, I'll call it, because throughout what's going on today's events of girl power and stepping up, we'll talk about that, but also just with bare knuckle fighting and a fraction of the MMA kind of segue that they kind of go both hand in hand. But we are going to have Christine Ferea on our show because she is the real deal. She is have a match coming up. She is a bare knuckle fighter. She's the first female champion bare knuckle fighter for fighting in a weight class of 125. I want to talk to her about that. And then I also want to talk about any other upcoming fights. We know for a fact that Paige Van Zandt left UFC to go into the bare knuckle arena, and I wonder if that will be her competitor.
Oh, she did?
She did. She did.
Wow.
So I'm going to ask Christine if she is going to
It'll be interesting.
Fighting. I would love to hear that. And I want to hear about the aspect of bare knuckle fighting. I really want to know
and how that
really
came
entails.
about, right?
Yes.
And it sounds like she's one of the mainly only or a few women that do it. So I mean that's major. I know for me, it's one thing to box and get hit in the face, but a bare knuckle, no, I'm not. I'm not a fighter. I'll talk my way out of it.
And if you saw on our page, as well as in our story, and as well as on the Girl Chat Sports group page, there was a fight that she had, and that one was a fight back in 2018, I believe it was. That little clip I showed, she put that girl out. That was a first round KO.
That's intense.
She's no joke. Really, she is no joke. Shout out to my girl Sabrina in the Lou. Yes. Shout out to you, girl. We miss you.
Stay careful out there. I don't know. I know Hurricane Laura is coming through right now, y'all. So anyone that's watching and is out there in the area of the Texas, New Orleans, all that area, just be safe, please. Hunker down. We want you to be here tomorrow because that's
do what you do for the hurricanes. It's hurricane season. Just prepare. Get where you need to be. And it's crazy. And it's coming. And this whole 2020, like I told you, Mel, is a whole hurricane. So
the whole year itself.
The whole year we're all set for a hurricane.
Hey, it looks like we got our guests tuning in. So
perfect.
Let's get her in here and get this convo started. Hey,
Christine. How you doing? I'm good. I'm calling you Ferea because that's who you are. You are the real deal, girl. And I'm just so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I just got out of training right now, so.
No, we appreciate you coming on.
We appreciate it. Shout out to Coach Ray Vega and his team for helping you out as well. Yes. And any other trainers you got that's shouting you out to make you just seem flawless in your landing and your quickness and everything that you do, because you're a beast, girl. I mean, you hail from San Jose. I found out you were the first female championship fighter at the weight class of a $125. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm little.
The Paxamine punch, apparently.
Right? Yeah. Apparently. So, what got you started in all of this? What was the? I've seen past interviews where you said that you were trying to keep out of trouble and you just joined a local gym and you kind of surveyed the gym area and saw these females in there. Were like, I could take them on, but you didn't know that the technique of fighting actually comes with a lot of discipline, training, education to it, and again, technique. So what catalyzed you from that point on to go into this bare knuckle arena? Because let's be clear, you were MMA for a while, and now you're in the bare knuckle arena.
Right. I was a Muay Thai fighter, and
you were Muay Thai.
Yeah, I was more of a Muay Thai fighter, and then there was no Muay Thai fight, so I took some MMA fights. So. I have a really tough, Muay Thai's training is extremely tough. So I think that's why I'm able to do bare knuckle. And it kind of transferred over well because we could clinch. It's just no gloves and I could still clinch and punch and turn, and then I could box too. So I can't use kicks or anything, but it took me a while in Muay Thai to actually incorporate my kicks. I would always naturally want to just use my hands.
Mm-hmm.
So it's perfect for me. Bare knuckle, when they called and I actually realized it was real, because at first when I first got the message, I was like, oh, I thought someone was playing with me, like, oh, do you want a bare knuckle box? Yeah. What? No, no. and then I saw them really do it. I was like, oh, it's for real. Like, sure, I would love to do that, and I saw Beck Rawlings. I was like, oh, I want to fight her. She thinks she's tough. I know I could beat her up. So yeah, that's how I got into it, and now I fell in love with it. It's my thing,
Oh man, and you have a upcoming fight coming up soon too. So
yeah, September 11th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So here's what I mean. Listen, I appreciate fighters. I've been watching. I'm getting more into it since we started the podcast. For me, I'm like bare knuckles on my face. I mean, it's one thing if someone just hits me with a boxing glove, but to have bare knuckles on your face, and it's not like it's just someone just taking a punch at you. Like you're literally fighting in the ring for X amount. I don't know how long if it's the same kind of periods there as with regular wrestling or MMA or boxing.
It's 2-minute rounds. Yeah, it's 5 2-minute rounds. Yeah.
Gotcha. What's in it? I mean, what is it that you take out of that? What is it that you put into it? What is it that makes you love this so much?
It's not. I'm not saying it's dangerous, more dangerous than any other style of fighting. I'm just saying it's more risky. So any small mistake will get you knocked out. One hit can get you knocked out. I can fight the worst fighter in the world, and she can go in there and beat me because she can just land a lucky shot.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't underestimate anybody. No matter who I step in there with, no matter how good her or bad her technique is or experience, she can catch me with a good shot, no matter who it is. So it makes it that much more critical. Like all my training, I got to be super tough. I can't give up on myself in training, because you give up in training, then you're going to give up in the fight. And I feel like I have to push myself mentally, physically, right. Push myself to the max every day just to be able to withstand it. Because I got dropped my last fight. I haven't been dropped before, and it was by a wire, and she came in and caught me, and I was like, and I got dropped. And if I wasn't as good, conditioned as good as I am, and if I wasn't as dedicated and work as hard as I do, I wouldn't be able to get up, and I would have lost that, I would have been knocked out. So I just think that the hard work just pushes me, and that's what I love. I love extreme. I'm obsessive. I obsess on it, so I obsess on my job.
How does the training between just regular MMA or Muay Thai fight, how does that transition or change when you're are you fighting bare knuckle, sparring or training, or is it mainly just working on techniques and kind of what's going on with that?
Yeah, well, I went into boxing instead. So I took myself out of the MMA or the martial art community and placed myself in the boxing gyms. I feel like I love boxing more for the skill, and I think there's just a higher skill level, and it's so much more. It's so much older. So there's more of a system. I don't know how to. And there's only two things you're focusing on. Two. Your hands. So you can get really good at it. I feel like Muay Thai and MMA, you're focusing on if you're in Muay Thai, you're focusing on your elbows. It's the art of 8 limbs. Your punches, your elbows, your knees, and your kicks. So you have so many things to work with. And then you get into MMA. Then you have to take jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai. And so you can't get great at anything. I feel like you're mediocre at everything. I like to be really good at something, so I was like, okay, I'm going to go into boxing, where these boxers, you watch a boxer and an MMA and you watch each one fight, and you could just see the difference in technique and movement and skill and how they move. And boxers, they counter like really smooth, boom, coming back. I like that. That's what kind of fighter I want to be. Like I feel like in Muay Thai it has more skill, but I feel like in MMA it's just more like kick, punch. Okay, I take you down. You know, like bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm just more into like looking clean and having good technique at the same time as keeping my brawling style. So I like to mesh it.
Gotcha.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the rules for bare knuckle? I mean, are there rules for bare knuckle fighting, or is it just like
a headbutt?
Is it like Fight Club? Is it like Fight?
Yeah.
I just think of Fight Club. That's all I can think of.
Yeah. So the rules, it's
excuse me.
Bless you again.
Allergies.
So you can punt. It's boxing with clinch. Boxing rules with you can grab the head and punch. As long as you're active with one arm, then you're fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me about the fight. Tell us about the fight coming up. Because how many matches have you had so far in this division of bare knuckle fighting?
Bare knuckle's been three.
Three. Okay. All right.
So yeah, 3 fights, and then so this will be my 4th one. I'm fighting a girl that I debuted for my pro debut for Muay Thai. Her name's Kaylee Cutler.
Okay.
So I fought her before, but in Muay Thai. So she's trying to get her revenge.
So in the Muay Thai fight, you defeated her then. So now she's really coming for revenge.
Yeah, she's coming for it.
Okay. So when you win this fight, because I feel like you'll avenge this fight and you'll win.
Yeah.
Paige Van Zant has left UFC to come into bare knuckle.
Yeah.
What is that looking like?
Class.
Into your weight class, no less.
Oh, welcome.
What is that? You welcome her. Okay. I was going to say, what is your feeling on that? And do you feel like that's going to be the next fight after your fight with Caitlin?
I think she's going to need a few before she gets to me.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
Yeah, I don't think she's definitely not ready for me now. I know that. And her management and her team is definitely $1 Million Baby is not, they're going to get their money's worth before they feed her to the wolves.
Yeah.
Ooh, you know what I mean?
So
I do too.
Yeah.
That's dope. So who do you see yourself wanting to face up against? And let's be clear, when Christine fights.
Oh no.
Oh. Mo?
She could.
I got you. Am I here? Okay. I was like, that was weird. Yeah. So when you train, you're training with actual boxers, men, no less, and other men. And I can tell you personally from Coach Vega, he's coming in to work with me and showing me bruises from his last sparring match with you that you put a slight hurting on him. Which you obviously not to put him on, not to put him on, not to put him on blast
by accident.
I can't wait to see. But how does that help you? My point being is, how does that help you with your training for these upcoming fights? Because you're not fighting males, you're fighting females, but you having that advantage, if you will. Do you see it as an advantage when you're sparring with these guys?
Oh yeah, I never win. So I'm always like trying so hard. So I know every sparring session I'm gonna get my ass kicked, right? So sorry if I'm cussing.
No, you're good. No, you're fine. You're good. You're good. Go for it.
So I know like it's a mental thing. So I already know these guys are really strong, they're fast, they're better, and they're boxers. So I don't come from a boxing background, so I'm fighting them at their own sport. And I'm coming in from a Muay Thai MMA background and trying to keep up. But I like that because I'm not in this to look good in the gym. I'm not in this to like beat up people smarter than me, or like I'm in this for fight night to beat the crap out of whoever I'm fighting. So I'll suffer now and train with the guys and push myself with the guys and get my ass handed to me every day. And I like the mentality. Us ladies, we have great heart, great heart and mentality. I'm not even saying that, but I just feel like with the guys, it's just a different level, But when I do spar women in the gym, it gets way more competitive.
Oh yeah.
So I believe because you've got women out there that think they can take you. They see your size, they see your height, and they're like, "This little lady, she's not what she's." And then you're just so quick with it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna, and I have a lot of heart. So like,
Right.
you might be better than me, but I promise you're not gonna outwork me. You know, like you may
like
drop
that.
me, but I'm gonna get back up, and we're gonna keep fighting. I'm not like I got heart. I got heart. You know what I'm saying?
That's so dope.
Yeah, but they push me. I love. They push me. They push me really hard. I love the team. Ray and Saul and ATG. You know, I'm training. You know, I'm running
ATG,
springing with them, and he just won his fight. You know.
Yeah.
Shout out to
him.
ATG.
Shout out to ATG winning that fight, neighborhood champ. We see you.
Yep. So like I'm just surrounding myself with great people, and Ray is like an awesome trainer. He keeps me motivated and positive, and I'm crazy, and he has patience for me. So my hat's off to him.
All right.
I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Like
he's excited for you too, and we are especially excited because we've never had a female fighter or contender like yourself on our show at all. So this is just a whole new arena, and I just didn't know that women were even participating in what Mel likes to call Hollywood Fight Club, but now it's the bare knuckle fighting. I just would have never have thought. And Christine, I just wish you nothing but the best on this match. And where do you see your future going as far as with the bare knuckle competition? Do you see yourself going in the facet of women's boxing? Do you feel like you might go back into tapping into MMA and maybe possibly do UFC? What does the future hold for you?
I don't know. I'm focusing on just being the best bare knuckle fighter right now. Hopefully I'll land my spot in the Hall of Fame. So that's a goal, and then possibly do some boxing. Possibly, I really don't have a desire for MMA.
Okay.
I mean, if they offered me a good purse, I guess I couldn't turn it down. But that's not something that I want. I love boxing, and I love stand-up fighting, and I don't know. I haven't kicked in 3 years, so I've been a boxer. I focus when I'm focused on something, I'm focused on it. I'm very, very solid in that. So I try to I know my Muay Thai stance is way different than my boxing, and I wasn't trying to mess that up. So, and if I keep going over here, going over there, and trying to mix it up, then I'm gonna be mediocre, and I don't want to be that. I want to be the best. So,
with bare knuckle fighting though, is there any? And this is my being naive too. I want to learn. Is there places that aren't? Is this illegal anywhere? Is bare knuckle fighting completely legal everywhere? I mean, how big is the league? Do you see it blowing up after? Like, I know I've had conversations with people in years past about bare knuckle fighting, but it always seemed like it was some underground, or it wasn't really allowed in certain states. So I just kind of wanted to see.
Told you she's thinking that Fight Club.
Yeah, it was underground for many, many years. And so David Feldman, the owner and president of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, brought it. He took him 10 years to get it legal in the first state.
Wow.
And then now it's legal in 7 states. Okay. So it's not fully legal everywhere yet. He's working on it. And I do see it blowing up, and I do see people loving it. When people find out, they're like, "What? Are you crazy? A bare knuckle boxer? Like what? Like no gloves?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And it's super fun. So like it's exciting, just like any other promotion or fight. Like some fights are boring and crazy and sloppy, and some are technical, and some are brawling. So it's just a mixture. Like they have. What's really unique about it, I think, too, is it has MMA fighters, Muay Thai fighters, boxers, and it's all like you don't know who you're facing next. So my last one was like kind of a brawler, and then now this one, she come from a wrestling background with some Muay Thai. She has a little bit of hands, but she has better kicks and really strong wrestling. So in the clinch, she's going to be strong. So it's an exciting dynamic to what he's created, and I just love the clinch. It's crazy. I can hold her head.
But you're able to do takedowns. So it's like pretty much everything allowed then too, or is it just stand up?
Yeah, it's just boxing. It's boxing with a clinch.
Okay.
So with all those other people, all those other facets that are coming in, MMA, Muay Thai, that are all coming into bare knuckle fighting, like how does that work? I mean, I think, is it just in the training where you don't slip up, because it's not like human error that we kind of get our subconscious our body kind of knows certain movements. Does anyone ever slip up and do something where you're like, oh wait, I forgot?
I haven't seen it, but I got hit when I was down, and she's an MMA fighter. So I was down and she hit me when I was down. So that's an MMA. She should have been DQ, but whatever.
Wow.
So we're professionals. We need to be controlled. If we're going into a boxing fight or we're going into a kickboxing fight, we need to be able to control our weapons. So I don't feel like there's any excuse for anything like that. I know what I'm doing in there. If I screw up, I did it on purpose. So, my bad. Yeah, I might tell the ref I didn't mean to, but I meant to do that. So I'm very in control, and I think most of us are very in control of what weapons we're throwing. Yeah.
Okay.
And at what time. Yeah.
I'm predicting a first round KO on this one too. For you. I think you're ready. I think you're ready.
9 months. I've been back to back. I've had three or four fights canceled. I've cut weight 3 times. I got my March, and then July, and then the August got canceled. Now I'm getting ready for another one. So I've been in camp 9 months.
Wow.
No rest. So I'm ready to fight and take about 3 weeks off after.
And the cancellations, were they due to because of the COVID and we're in a pandemic?
Yeah, COVID.
Okay, so what's the protocols going forward for this fight upcoming where they have you guys? What are the protocols that they're doing to keep you guys safe and healthy for this upcoming match? Is there
they're having a test? They're over there. It's in Florida, so Florida Commission is having us test for COVID. I guess a couple of days out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a couple days out, and then are you guys bubbled yourselves, or is this going to be an open spectator type of debut fight, or is it all going to be virtually done?
I believe it's half capacity.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's Florida. I mean.
Yeah. I mean, most of the stuff is open.
Thank God for Florida. I need to fight.
Excuse me. But yeah. I'm thinking that I was wondering if that was going to be the case, because I wasn't sure if it was going to be one of those things like the UFC's been doing where you're streaming it and we're watching, or you're actually going to be able to have spectators there. And since you are going to be with the spectators, does that ever become a distraction to you when you're in the ring with your opponents, or how do you channel the mental toughness that goes into your fights?
No, when someone hits me, I'm zoned in.
Okay.
That's what it takes. I need to get hit, because I like to get hit, because then I'm like, okay, this is real. Like, let's go. Let's do this. I'll hit you, and like I'll do just give me a little touch, and then you wake up my psycho. Wake up the beast. You know what I'm saying? So
that brings another good question too, is because of COVID. I mean, I think a lot of people, and this would be something that I want to ask other fighters, including yourself, is you guys are used to using fighting as like your outlet, whether it's a bad day or whether it's a hard day, whether it's something happening in your personal life or whatever, and not having that outlet. How does that affect you? Because like you just said, well, I need to fight. Like, I need to fight. Like, this is what I need. How has it been, dealing with COVID, the lockdowns, the shutdowns, and still trying to be able to have that outlet?
Well, see, I trained the whole time. And I was sparring outside. We were sparring in the heat, like with Bray and Saul, and we were getting it, and I've been preparing for a fight this whole time, really. So like cancellation back to back, but then I was like, okay, we're going to fight either, like, okay, we'll fight in July. Okay, now we'll fight in blah, blah, blah. So I've been getting ready for a fight this whole pandemic, and it didn't, like, I stay in the zone and I stay very focused and my eye on the prize type, so I didn't let it get to me. But this last one, like, if I prepare for this one, I don't know mentally how I'm going to do.
It's happening. Like, we're putting it out there.
Yeah.
You're going to do it. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. There's no question.
Yeah. I don't know if I could do another cancellation, but I handled it. Like, I just kept my eye on the prize and, like, worked hard. So I deleted everybody online that would talk about COVID or all the, just like who like were focusing on negativity. I would unfollow them just because I can't get in that space.
Yeah,
I can't get in that space. That doesn't help me, you know. So that's what I did, and that's what I do to stay in a to stay motivated. You know, I can't feed into the negativity that's going on up there.
Yeah,
that's good.
That is good. That's what you got to do. Well, we're ready for you, September 11th.
Where do you know? Where are we able to watch the fight? Do you know how we can find the fight or watch
Bare Knuckle TV? Bare Knuckle app.
Okay.
So there's a Bare Knuckle app, and it will be on the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship website.
Okay. We'll add that link into the podcast when we post it too, so we can do that.
And I'll send that to you guys.
Yeah, please do.
Before we let you go, though, we did have a comment from Jeremy out there. He mentioned, you being from San Jose. Are you a Sharks fan, or do you follow any other sports?
I'm a 49er fan because I'm from the Bay.
Are you guys? I'm Raiders, and that was the other side of the Bay, so I get it.
Where are you from?
I'm from Vegas. I'm from Vegas originally, but I was a Raider fan when it was Los Angeles Raiders, and then when it went back to the Bay, of course. Okay. So I get it.
That's cool. My Ray's a Raider fan. I deal with you guys. So yeah, and of course I love the San Jose Sharks. I'm from San Jose, so I would support them. When they played Las Vegas, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm from San Jose. I was inside of a pho place, and they would give shots every time Las Vegas would score, and they were playing against the Sharks, and I'm like the only person in there that's going for the Sharks. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a Sharks fan, of course. I'm always true to where I come from. So
all right. That's good. Well, where can everybody find you on social media and tap in?
At Christine Ferea is going to be my Instagram, and then Christine Ferea is my Facebook, and then my fan page is Bare Knuckle Misfit.
You are the Misfit. I meant to coin that. That is your nickname, the Misfit. Yes.
Yeah. Bare Knuckle. I'm just Christine Ferea on Facebook.
We'll find it. Yeah, we got you. You also on Twitter too. I saw that you have a Twitter account. So I'm a new follower to you, but
they deleted me. I was like sharing my
videos. That's what I was gonna ask. I was like, that's why I got my clip.
They took everything from me. They deleted me, or whatever they do to you when you screw up, and then I never got back on. So I was like, whatever, you guys.
I tagged you today too.
I did.
Well,
I don't mess with it.
That's all right. That's all right. We got you on IG. We got you on Facebook, and we got you on the Bare Knuckle website. And we wish you nothing but the best and much success.
Thank you for having me on.
I appreciate you. Yeah, we definitely will have to meet in person one of these days. And I'm excited. I'm super excited. I'm so glad that you were able to come on. You are the epitome of girl power.
Man, please.
I've never seen.
Girl power.
All down to you. Do it. I mean, you can do anything. And
yes, we can.
Listen. I commend you. I think you're doing awesome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
Take care and bring home that champion, that win. We want to see it.
I want to see that dub. I want to see that dub for sure.
You'll see it. I promise.
Yes.
All right. Bye. Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Oh man, that was so dope. She's a beast, y'all. I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand what we got going on right now.
Let me tell you, I'm going to have it in my calendar. I'm downloading an app. I'm finding it. I'm streaming it. That's intense.
It is very intense. And I don't think people recognize what the dedication that this young lady has put into what she's doing right now. For 2 fights to be canceled during COVID, instead of getting down and depressed about it, she kept fighting. She kept training. She kept conditioning. Like, she didn't let anything stop her. And that mental toughness is I have to say, it's next level.
It's something you can't buy or train hard enough to do any
not at all. Not at all. So shout out to her. Shout out
to Ray.
Ray,
can we see a picture of your face?
Yes, we heard you got pressed in the face, Ray. You've been coming to work with little bruises here and there. I'm thinking it was some domestic stuff, but then I found out. No, I'm just kidding. Found out that Christine was on you in the workout. Yeah, she's
my
dope.
Gosh,
she is a beast.
So amazing.
She's girl power all day. Like I want to
complete girl power. Listen, I can't
little. A buck
what was it? $1.25?
Bro, do you know how much food I'd have to push away to be $1.10? Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Do you know how much food I'd have to push away for $1.25? Do you know how much stuff I would have to literally give up
or something? I don't know. That's
listen. That's not. There's no way. My total height frame is not going to handle $1.25. Ray says he's getting beat up.
Oh man! But hey, listen, this is one thing that I really appreciate about her is that she's training with men. So she's not. Yes. I mean, granted, I'm sure there's probably a hard time finding other females to train against because it's not something that a lot of women are doing.
Oh yeah,
you're training against men. Okay, so and like you said, she'll get her butt kicked, and then she uses that to push her into the fights. Because why not fight some of the best to make your way into the man?
Listen. Big ups to her. I just was like this the whole time, just frozen.
Like I'm hyped. I'm hyped.
And I'm hyped. Like, I'm hyped for her.
And it's like 2 weeks away.
And Coach Ray, darn it, if you can make it so, I want to be on the Christine Ferea workout plan, possibly. Hello, that's a lot.
Can we start a live girl chat for that?
Right. That's a lot to do. He was like, come on.
I mean, geez.
My God.
It's intense.
It is. It's really intense. But man, I wish her the best. I think she's gonna pull it off.
I do
and
too.
I want to see that fight with Paige Van Zandt. So Paige Van Zandt has work to do to get to Christine.
She's ready.
She's absolutely right.
She was like, she's not ready for me yet, but when she gets here, I'll take her.
I'll be ready. I'll take her. I love it. I love it.
I love it.
Yes. So much going on in the world of sports today. We've got some big news.
A lot.
Yes, a lot.
As I'm sure everybody knows by now, we didn't have any NBA. We didn't have any WNBA.
And we
had a few Major League Baseball games. However, if those may have started later, we may not have had those too. Plus, there was, I think, like 3 or 4 double headers today. So the second part of a double header was happening just as all this was kind of transpiring.
Yeah, the Braves game was. So the Braves game is playing out. Dodgers decided to cancel their game against the Giants tonight. But tomorrow, they're doing double headers back to back of both games. So they're going to play the game they missed today, tomorrow, as well as another game on top of that. They're doing both.
Wow. Well, I know the Mariners also postponed theirs. Here's the deal. The Mariners, like we've talked about before, are one of the youngest teams out there, and they have 10 black baseball players. We're not talking, and African-American baseball players. These guys are young and they're part of this generation now that's standing up, and they're not taking it. They're not dealing with it no more. They had that. Yeah. They were coming off way before, and I'm super happy about that. I'm really excited for the Mariners team and the organization there because I hope that's something they can maintain. But as we get through this, this is all coming about now because of the recent shooting of Jacob Blake in Wisconsin, and still nothing on the man who shot him, the officer that shot him.
Right. And I think what even sparked this even more is that we lost a couple protesters, if you will, to another person of gun violence that was
who was
on
17
the opposition
and who should have never had a gun and had interactions
in a virtual classroom bubble anyway. I don't even know why the heck he was out the house. Like, what is going on? It's a school night. But anyway, he chose to take that night into his own hands of some kind of way and create his own form of a militia, if you will, and ended up killing 2 people that were demonstrating. So and we don't know all specifics on that, but I think that gets to be a tipping point where enough is enough. And
I think it also was because he had also had interactions with the police while he's toting this rifle or whatever.
He walked right past the police and was able to go back into his own home.
They gave him a water beforehand and were like, "Hey, thanks for being out here with us." Like,
come on.
That
and he was able to flee and go to his own state. So that's another clear-cut example of a different privilege that we don't get.
How did he get arrested? Was he hurt in the arrest? No, he was
taken without a hair out of place.
Dinner, and then
without a hair out of place and all kinds of stuff. But here's the thing that's so crazy about it all is I don't blame Milwaukee for making that kind of a notion because it happened in their state. and for them to follow suit on this. And like I said, shout out to Levels. I thought the agreement was when the players go back to the bubble that the owners and league execs and everyone else would be not only having these open, candid conversations, but taking action and making the change actually happen. The NBA players have done a outstanding job of trying to get their message as loud as clear as possible while still playing. That is not working. So regardless if they didn't do it before, they're doing it now. And what's to say what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or the next day? There could be demands laid in place. I know the players had a meeting at 8:00 tonight, and I think that was a few hours back, Eastern time. So that was a few hours back. So we don't know what to make of this. And I knew the Bucks were supposed to make a public appearance and have a press conference, and that has not come into play just yet. So
like this is the news alert from Bleacher Report.
Okay.
The NBA, the meeting updates is that the talk centered around the ending the season or not. So that is up for debate, whether they're just going to end the season. Also, the momentum is growing towards not playing Thursday's games as well. So there may not be any games tomorrow as well, or even for the rest of the season. But I know that there's also going to be like a manager or a owners meeting, a stakeholders meeting tomorrow as well through the NBA. We'll see how that goes. But, give it up to, this is the thing is that as any Black player, especially for a Milwaukee team, and that's also where you reside and lay your head and where your family lives and your kids are at, you can't stand for, you can't. It's
well, the thing of it is there a lot of these players away from their families. They're away from people they can't even hug right now at this moment to console all of this travesty of going on and what's in the bubble. So you have some players that are opting just to leave entirely because it's like, I need to be with my tribe now. I need to be with my people because this is gone past basketball. And I know the WNBA is slated for games tomorrow. We got our Aces playing tomorrow. So who's to say if they'll play tomorrow? And big ups to them showing solidarity to their brethren of not playing as well. And they have done an amazing job of trying to get their message heard. They've also done an amazing job of players who have opted out, showing action by demonstrating and doing things and meeting with local legislatures to amend things and make things into laws, possibly. So they're doing the work. I mean, what else more can we do? We have tried. They have tried to convey a message through entertaining us at the same time, and it still has fallen on deaf ears. So now it has to be an actionable kind of recourse at this point, in my opinion.
And a big thing that, beyond all of our protests, beyond, leagues changing or not having games, it's imperative. If you don't know how to register to vote or you're not registered to vote, that you go out and do so. We will make sure that we share a link. Shout out to Alicia Gibbs, who has been
I'm going to say it.
She's been an example of trying to help push this voting thing because we got to vote. We have to make changes. And those changes
and I'm not even going to say just vote. I'm saying vote blue. I'm being very specific in my message. Vote. Not vote. Vote blue. Yeah. I don't care what you're saying not you per se, but anybody else saying at this point about voting. I'm saying to everyone in this audience, vote blue. That is the change. Your political, I understand people's affiliations and things, but there's right and right, and there's wrong and wrong.
Right.
And I'm telling you, if you want to do the right thing, in my opinion, you're voting blue. And you're finding out from your judges and anybody else in nonpartisan positions where they stand in society. Because where they stand is also a voting factor too. That is the message that I am going to convey about voting. You need to vote blue. And I'm going to leave it at that. And that's why I'm wearing my blue shirt that says nah, because I'm not in the mood right now for all of this to be, and I do watch what our adversaries or what our opposition is. I've been looking at the RNC as well, because I feel like if you're going to win a game, you need to know what your opposition is, what you're up against. You need to know what the message is conveying out there. And right now, the message is not a great message. And Doc Rivers has said that explicitly in his post-game interview, emotionally, about red not being the color that is necessary for us. So if you're going to vote,
they're talking about fear, and it's not
fear. Yes, absolutely. I've been watching this, and it has been a message of fear. They had a message of fear back in 2016, and it also conveyed to those that were immigrants, and it specifically targeted one minority group. Well, now they've elevated their fear to my minority group, and I sad to say is the way you live, your rules are totally different from the way my rules are. in living. Your freedom is totally different from my freedom. Completely.
Yeah.
And that is not right. And so the thing of it is, and yes, Alex, Doc did go in because that is what we're talking about right here. We can no longer shy away from what's going on. Oh, that's okay. We can't shy away from what our message is trying to convey and what these athletes' messages are trying to convey. Now, I'm curious to see what it looks like for the NFL at this point. I feel like they're the type of organization, well, they're going to keep playing and they have their own set of rules. But I have to give props to Adam Silver and, the NBA as a whole, because they are standing by their players, but we need to just see the action behind the stand behind, because the talking is done. We've talked so much. We've talked way too much. We've laid out the groundwork. I think maybe we just didn't make it explicitly clear what the demand is. Well, the demand is we want justice. And the demand needs to be action. And the demand is that these owners and these executives and these ad executives that are losing dollars today and maybe going forward need to now use their political influence as well as their monetary influence to make the change happen. Because let's be real, our NBA players are employees, just like myself and anybody else. There's only so much that they can do. There's only so much, especially if you're Black, there's definitely only so much we can do at a certain level before we can't do anymore, regardless of how influential we are. So when you have allies that say they're our allies and say that they're with us, well, then prove it. We need to see the action behind what you're saying.
I've already called Wisconsin a few times today.
How'd that go?
That doesn't go anywhere. No one answers. It's just,
I emailed.
Yeah.
I've written a couple emails. I'm still emailing with Kentucky. Elijah McClain is 365 days still, and no conviction to the officers that killed him or anybody involved with that. We're a whole year in on that. So
Breonna Taylor's got a good
and we still over
180 days, probably
180 days, 70 days. We're right in there. And then on top of that, we had a gentleman out of, I believe it was Lake Charles, Louisiana, that also got shot by the police as well. I believe his circumstances of the story were a little different, but he still got murdered at the hands of the police. He actually lost his life. So again, this is a serious matter. I'm happy that we had sports for while we did. It was great for something we talk about, but as they are saying, it's bigger than basketball.
It's bigger than basketball.
It's way bigger than that, because we're talking about a humanity issue and we're talking about human lives here. Mm-hmm. And so that always trumps anything else that we have going on right now.
And a real big thing that I was hoping for is that they really start pushing on using, now that we're not using these arenas and these stadiums for sports because they're going to be paused or because there's not going to be fans, we need to use these for voting stations. We need to use these for places.
It would be nice.
To use these for the better good, because at this point, let's talk about Vegas. When it comes down to voting, it'll be cooler, but it might still be 80 degrees. Who knows by November? The beginning of November sometimes can be 60, sometimes to be like 85, 90. That's still not a place you want to stand in line for 10 hours just to get your vote in. And the importance of having to vote, making sure you get out and vote. We know that the mail system right now, the way that 45 talks about that the reason why, that the issues are going to be because of mail system, I don't want my vote going in the mailbox.
Oh, well, you got to drop it off at the polling places. There are going to be 152 polling sites here in Vegas. They actually have more, and they cut it back. And that's where you need to directly take your ballot, is to one of the polling stations in the yellow ballot drop-off mailbox. Not our blue postal mailboxes, or not our regular mailbox that can get broken to.
Where you usually go to vote, you can take your
ballot there. Exactly. And they need to make November 3rd a national holiday. Everybody has to be on national holiday, and
everybody's just calling sick. Really, I don't care.
Well, by law, your job is supposed to let you go and vote. If they do not do that, that is a problem, and that needs to also be addressed. So it's a lot of major work to do, and I think with us playing basketball, I think it was kind of a mild distraction, and people kind of let some stuff slide and go over their heads and kind of forget about the world's woes. And we already got people forgetting that there's a pandemic in the world. So what makes you think they really were still focused on us? Well, we've reshifted and we've gotten the message loud and clear.
God was telling
this is a priority.
Like, hold up.
Stop
We're not done yet.
You didn't get it the first time. So I'm going to have to make you get it again. Blessed be this guy is able to live. It is not his whole life or his whole complete body, because he's paralyzed from what they say, but there's a possibility he could get out of that, God willing. But he did not die, but it was a message to say, time's up. Stop the noise. We need to focus. And that's what it is.
And the fact that I don't know if you saw the other video, which showed the other side of the car.
I couldn't even watch the first video. I couldn't even I'm tired of watching videos. I can't watch it anymore.
But when I tell you, there was children just right there on the other side of the car.
Yeah, that could have been shot and killed too.
A bullet could have went through him, through the car, and
and one to the kids. Yeah.
But it probably wouldn't have been a problem until that happened, unfortunately.
It's a problem now. It's just ridiculous. You're saying it wouldn't have been a problem. Yeah.
Maybe it would have been a problem. But come on,
excuse me. Would it have been? Because it's a black child. I don't know. We had Tamir Rice get killed for playing with a BB gun, and still nothing, no hindsight of what that's all about. So, yeah. I don't think that would have.
We can read through it a little bit. We can go back a little bit. Go ahead, clear your voice. Clear your voice.
Yeah.
You got some allergies going over there, girl.
Yeah, it's definitely not COVID. Okay, guys.
She's free.
I'm good at the social distancing thing. I'm such in a practice of social distancing at work that I like literally walk around buildings to get away from people. You're not gonna pass me in the aisle. You're not gonna touch me. None of that stuff. Right. But anywho, I was loving how the series was going up until now. That's what you were heading to.
I wanted to talk. Before today, basketball. So the Lakers, Well,
who doubted us? There was a lot of naysayers out there with Dame Lillard. Ooh, Dame Dollar's gonna bring it. He gonna do this. They're the 8th seed. They barely made it to the 8th seed by beating Brooklyn by 1 point.
But we're gonna give Dame credit though. Like Dame does get credit.
Don't get me wrong, he's great, but one man a team does not make. And I need people to stop looking at the now. Why are the Lakers the number 1 seed and haven't lost?
Yeah, but also look at how when AD doesn't perform to when AD does perform, how different the Lakers are.
Well, I had said that before. If you watch these Laker games, you can notice the magnitude of AD when LeBron is not in the game, when there's a different type of unit going on, there's a different type of strategy. We're seeing it. Now, can the Lakers withstand this in the test of time? Now, we had our show with our guys earlier, and they were talking
Sports
about
Madness. Shout out to Sports Madness.
Sports Madness. Yeah, Sports Madness. They're so cute.
I
know. Talking about the fruition of how deep the Clippers are, which I will agree. They are very deep. They are very strong defensively. They also are without some key players like Patrick Beverly hasn't played. And also, who else is missing from them? Is that it?
I think that's it. Well, Paul George was missing.
He's missing, but now he's addressed his mental issues. Yeah. So I hope he's made that aware and it can kind of lock in a little bit.
I think that's very key to discuss too, because how just being in a bubble and being away from family, being away from everyday friends, your usual routine can affect you. Not having the fans, not having the real life aspect of the game.
Absolutely.
Affect a person. And I commend him for coming out like that, whether it was intentional, whether it was planned, whether it was really what he was dealing with. I hope it, you see that these guys have other things going on. They're not just here to play this game for you.
No.
And I think today was clear of that too. But is this Paul George going to be the same Paul George we saw last game, or is it going to be the same one that we saw in the last few games? Because I think that's going to be key. Just like every basketball game, every basketball team depends on a certain player if they're showing up or not. Players,
Dallas would be giving them a run for their money if Kristaps Porzingis was in the game. Let's be clear, but he's not. And the same thing with Avery Bradley. If Avery Bradley was in the game, they'd be giving the Mavs a run for their money. It'd be definitely a good series to watch. It is a great series to watch. If Marcus Morris stepped on Luka, which now Luka has an ankle sprain, so we don't even know if he can play now. He has declared today that his ankle is officially sprained from the step on the shoe. And Marcus Morris, I'm sorry, it may not have been intentional, but I feel like you've been doing this throughout this whole series when it comes to him. And I think it's kind of a cheap shot, if you will. I won't say it's like one of those, I'm going for it. They were already up 50 gazillion points. So what do you have to gain by doing this? Why? But at the same time, I feel like you have something within your thing that you just wanted to go after this guy a little bit. And now he's out.
Yeah. Let's also commend Luka, period. I mean,
come on. The guy is just all time and so young to be doing what he's doing. It's incredible.
And someone mentioned the comparison to Larry Bird, and I'm like, yo, he shoots Larry Bird out the water.
Oh yeah.
And he's
Larry played ugly too. Let's be real. Larry was a dirty player too, and Luka ain't doing all.
So was that whole
stuff.
Celtics team.
Yeah, exactly.
They were the first bad boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. So I mean, it's just, and just because the boys were mentioning Utah and Donovan Mitchell, and they think they'll get past Utah. Well, Denver won last night.
Yeah.
And you know,
what is it? It's 3-2, right? 3-2 Jazz.
Yeah, it's 3-2 Jazz, and now they're forced into a game 6. So you got to see what that's going to look like. There's no guarantee that Connolly and company will get out of this and go Bear. Maybe, but who's to say? We don't know. And I feel like you got
Murray.
A Denver Nuggets thing. Yeah, Jamal Murray is a tit for tat player. So if Donovan's going to shoot it, guess what? Jamal Murray's going to shoot it too. So that's going to be that's a very interesting series. And I have to say, I'm sorry for the gone fishing moment of the Indiana Pacers coach. He's fired today. Nate, I'm sorry, Nate. I mean, you might be able to go down the Pelican world and see what happens. Who are they going to look at? All these coaches that have been let go. We lost the coach for the Bulls. We don't have a coach there. Now we've lost the Pacers. Now we lost the Pelicans. So we got 3 spots open. Oh, wait, the Knicks, do we need a coach? Have they gotten a coach yet? I don't even know if they got a coach yet, did they? So maybe possibly 3 in a possible of spots that need to be filled. Where are these other coaches going to come from?
I don't know.
And Mark Jackson
I still don't understand the whole Nate McMillan being fired. I don't know. I don't.
Well, you have to understand with that, their offense, they've never had Victor Oladipo, which thingamajig. I call him thingamajig from the voice thing that he was on. That you never saw that he always got injured. So you never got to see the whole fruition of his whole season doing something like that. Oh yeah, the Sixers too. Yeah. I mean, they're in trouble too. They just lost their coach. That's right. He deserved it though.
Yeah,
anyway,
they didn't
Indiana,
do that.
You don't have anything else. I mean, you've got to elevate your offense to some other way to form to weaponize when you have no Oladipo in the games. And as great as TJ Warren was, he sure fizzled out real fast. Who neutered him? Because we don't hear nothing about this guy anymore. He was shooting daggers for Indiana. Wow. Yeah, where's TJ?
Sorry, breaking news real quick. The Lakers and the Clippers both voted to end the season on Wednesday today. NBA players during the NBA players and coaches meeting. However, every other team voted to continue playing.
So wait, out of all the teams, there was only 2 teams that did not want
to. This is in the NBA players and coaches meeting. The only 2 teams voted to end the season, Lakers and Clippers. The other teams voted to continue.
So it looks like they're out, and so the other teams will continue. So it looks like it's going to continue if they have to vote on it, right? Because majority rules, right?
I would assume so, unless something changes between now and tomorrow. I guess we'll see. But I mean,
well, I'm curious to know which players are going to stay.
It was weird that the Bucks weren't part of that one, though. You know, like you would. I don't know. Why the 2 LA teams of all people?
Yeah, like what's up with that? Are they not wanting to?
And these are the 2 best teams in the league. You know,
right? They're not wanting to face off. Interesting. 2 LA
or maybe
teams?
They have the 2 most active players that want to get out the bubble to start doing something to make change.
Well, that's what I was wondering too. I said, if they continue the season, the players that voted to continue the season, are there some players on those teams that are saying, "Hey, we're just going to opt out and leave the bubble"? Like, I wonder how that's going to look. Wow.
I don't know, but that's I'm shocked that only 2 teams, and of those 2 teams, it's Lakers and the Clippers. Like, those are the 2 teams that'll take it, I think. I mean,
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, why?
And for Milwaukee to be the first team to step off today, out of all the other teams, it was Milwaukee, and they don't vote for that?
Maybe some player, I don't know. How did they do the voting? Was it a unanimous vote from each player of the team? It had to be it
didn't give the details, just so that out of all the players and coaches that were at the meeting, that each team got to vote, and the only 2 that voted to end the season were the Clippers and the Lakers. That was,
and they were doing secret ballots. It wasn't like it was a public vote, possibly. So, you know.
Yeah.
Just those 2? Yeah. Alex, I'm curious about that too. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it can make sense because California is always progressive with that, and they're down for a protest. But I just don't. those two teams, somebody's hurt. Somebody's leaving the bubble. Either one or two things. Somebody's severely hurt that can't go on, or somebody's leaving the bubble.
But we haven't heard of any injuries yet, though. I mean, nothing that's
but somebody's leaving the bubble or something.
I would think that maybe LA and, you know.
Well, here's the deal with Kawhi Leonard. I could see the Clippers voting to end the season on this because Kawhi Leonard watched his dad die. He got murdered right in front of him. And when he was a kid. So that could be a trigger effect. You just never know what the trauma lies within certain players. And coincidentally, it could have been a thing like, look, I'm triggered by this. No pun intended. I feel like I gotta get out.
I feel like there's more to it because now there's an alert that the meeting ended ugly.
Yeah, so there's some discourse on who's staying, who's going.
Versus coaches or players versus players.
Yeah, you don't know.
Like the ownership wasn't even in the meeting, so you can only imagine what could have happened if there was actually ownership in there too, because we know they're there for $1. So
I wonder, since Chris Paul is like the basketball, the Players Association president, what he has to say with all of this.
Well, he had met with Westbrook prior.
I saw that they were talking. So, yeah.
I'm sure it's his doing that they actually had this meeting today, that it was brought on to have.
Definitely, because before this, he was a part of wanting to boycott the season too, along with Kyrie Irving. Mm-hmm. He was in agreement to that too. So it could have got really ugly in there.
Oh, because you have to understand.
Oh, I know. Just to be a towel or a little leg of the chair. Or
just an ankle wrap, an ace bandage or something,
Just to be the mask. The outer mask, and just be able to visualize as they're wearing the mask and yelling. Yeah, not the inner mask. I don't want that funk. I want the outer mask. I want to see what's going on.
I mean, wow.
It's a big deal. And shout out to some of the baseball players individually not playing today. Colorado Rockies announced that Kemp wasn't playing. Chicago Cubs player was not going to play. So you've got some players just individually choosing not to play today as well in Major League.
Before Kenny Smith walked off the set of NBA.
Oh yeah, he did. He walked off inside NBA. He said he's with the players. He said it just doesn't feel good to sit up here and talk. And I get that. I totally get that. Sure. I totally get that. We don't feel good. You wake up every day with the notion of what else is going to happen.
And Weber, the whole thing that he talked about, and I know people give him a lot of smack for the way he, for commentating on the games, and he isn't the greatest. He's not
the greatest commentator. We know that. It's like hard to watch and listen.
For a color commentator, I love her. I think she's great at it. But
I watch the Lakers Network. I'm with Stu. So every time I watch the Lakers game, I'm with the Stu because Stu is better. You watch the Lakers game with Chris Weber. Sounded good.
A very, emotional speech or discussion that he had on.
Sure, this is an emotional thing. This is not anything that should be like a key moment or anything. This triggers some people. This is a trauma. This is very traumatizing. No one should actually see a man get shot 7 times reaching in a car where his children are when he was the one that was breaking up the domestic situation. No one should see that. No one should see a cop's knee on a black man's neck who's telling them he cannot breathe and dies right before our eyes. We shouldn't be seeing that. When is it going to be a breaking point for us to say enough's enough? Because I feel like we're just getting jaded by it. And that's not good, to be jaded by something and feel numb to something that you can't even feel emotion for anymore because it happens too often.
Right.
And the unknown stories that we don't know.
There's too many.
There's too many.
Shout out to Katie for checking in.
Yeah, what's up, KT on Sports?
We'll be checking in with them on Friday. We got a busy week this week, Mo.
We do. We are popular. I love it. Yeah. Shout out to everybody that tuned in to us on Monday on Mamba Day, 8/24. Yes. Shout out to our special guest. We had Quan from Gorilla Cross and Vegas Hype Media with us, and we had Pastor Benny Perez from Church LV joining us, who is a diehard Laker fan, and gave us some good, enlightening conversation and a little bit of benediction. And we always have to take it in stride, and we just have to kind of woosah, take a deep breath, everyone. Just breathe in, breathe out. This is the sign of the times. If you're faith-filled, things will get better. We just need to see the action. I get tired of talking about this. Like, I don't want to talk about this. I want to talk about fashion and music and going out and guys and, you know, having fun and talking about our great love of sports and stuff. I don't want to keep having to talk about what's happening in this country that stops everything, because it shouldn't be happening in 2020. It's just kind of ridiculous.
At the same time, I feel like maybe this COVID thing has taken place where we've been able to actually all be able to sit down and address this.
That is the silver lining to your point of COVID. That is the only silver lining, that we were all in our house.
We all got
always had time to see it and time to do things. So yeah, that's the silver lining to the COVID for sure.
But one more time, we want to thank our guest, Christine Ferea, for coming through the Misfit.
Yes, the Misfit, Ferea.
You download the bare knuckle fighting app, and also I think there's a bare knuckle fighting website. We'll post all those links in the podcast when we post it, so that you guys are able to check them out September 11th for that fight. I know my alarm will be set for that. I can't wait. And so we really appreciate you guys tuning in. Of course, every Wednesday we'll be here, and we'll be back again next Wednesday. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you guys.
Stay sane, y'all. Stay
sane and stay safe.
Thank you. Bye.
2 fingers. Bye.
He said 2 fingers.
Yep.